Hello everybody. So I have completed all the four mortise and tenon joints on this panel. Uh, so then I'll go to the next step now. So this is the other side. So I've just uh, so this will of course form the rectangular panel. So it's always good to like try as many dry runs as possible because I mean, once you start, once you have, I have finalized things and I am into the glue up, it's there is no turning back. So I have just halfway in. So basically, you this is the stile. These are the two rails. So we have to make sure the two tenon piece we do this first so that the final piece we can just put it in this way. Basically there is no other way to do it easily. Maybe a simple thing, but for beginners it's so easy to mess this up and realize after you have applied all the glues or glued up one piece and then you realize, oh, I should have done something else first. Hammering from both sides so that I am not putting undue strain on one of the joints. I'll put a wooden block on the floor. Yeah, what I was saying was that this is the first time I'm joining all four pieces because each of the joints go properly, that I know because I have tried individually. But there are always surprises, right? The reason I am doing this now is because I have to shape or I have to measure the exact length of each of the uh, slats or tambour pieces, how Paul Sellers calls it, even though they are not moving, he mentions that. So just have to make sure that I'm getting the length accurate before I go there. So these are all the pieces that I have, they are longer than longer in length than I need to. So I've already cut these pieces. So what I did was that each of those pieces, they are approximately 3/4 inch wide, and these are supposed to be go into the grooves, so 5 by 16 inch. So they were initially, I did all this on my bandsaw, so they were initially a little bit wider. So I took each individual piece, tested it on so so tested it on the grooves. I want them to go in uh, just go in, not too tight, but I don't want it super loose. I mean, one or two loose pieces is fine. They are just going to float around, but I have to ensure that they all go in, and at least one of the faces that I want on my face side to be planed. I will just show one of the pieces how I did. Let me. I kept one of the pieces here. So this one, let's say. Now this has I think I did plane on one side. This side is very rough. I may decide to plane on both sides just to see which side looks better. So one side goes in, the other side is tight, it doesn't go in. So I don't want it this tight because once I start gluing up, I don't want a single piece to be holding me up. So I just look at it like how the shape looks. I use this bench stop I have. I take a plane. It's good to lubricate the sole. I'm looking at the grain direction. This seems to be going in pretty good now. At least the end is. I think there is a little bit of bulge at the center. That's it. I'm still going to dry fit each and every piece to see how it looks. Like what would be my length? The best way to measure this is I bring this in here. So I'm just trying to find a couple of sticks here. These two will work. Two small sticks. I put an end on this side and then the other one on the other side. I try to see like what's the length here. So I stretch it in so that it touches both ends. So that's the length here. I then take my ruler just to see what was this length. It is like just a hair, like a 32nd less than 7.5 inches. Now I try to take this in back again to see. Did seem like it was a little bit tight here. So here, let me see. This is like like a 16th less than 7.5, so that would be 7 by 6, 7/16. So I'll go with that. I mean, it's better to be ever so slightly like a 32nd or even a 16th shorter than being longer, because if I am too long, obviously I will come to know in the dry fit. But what happens is that they may tend to push the rails little bit farther. It's not the end of the world. So it has happened to me on one of the panels. So they will bulge out, but eventually we are going to plane these and to size. Like all of my panels, I want it like properly dimensioned. So I can do that, but I'm just trying to get into like have something that I can work with. Like what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to make sure that I'm as accurate from the beginning as I can. So before that, I did bring the other panel just to like, because I'm using an assortment of colors like wood species. I don't have to be exactly matching with the other panel, but I want to get the overall layout that is like more or less similar to that in the other panel. So this is the already like panel that I have glued up. So this is the front side, this is the back side. So I will just use it as a gauge or like as an approximate reminder to like see like what pattern I have. And overall I have gone with a pattern such that like I have like how many 3 pieces of this premium like I have some like real premium wood. This is like I have like 3 pieces of this is padauk. One thing from the past experience I have seen is that this looks like really red and very bright, wonderful, but this does tend to bleed into other colors. So if you have like other light wood texture, then this is going to smudge into that. So because of my past experience, so what I have done, I have already like applied couple of coats of shellac on this thing. You don't have to go with this wood like any other like species, even like just choosing like couple of different colors or even a single color, it all works fine. So just that I decided to use it, I already had those scrap pieces, I used it. So yeah, even then when I am going to apply shellac finally, I'm still going to apply a painter's tape on this one, because shellac is not a film finish. It's like it dissolves into the previous layer, so I don't know whether it's going to again bleed or not. So anyway, so since I have like 3 pieces of this, I'm going to equidistant, I know like where they should go. I put one at the center and one at like the, again I divide the other two like approximately and put the center of that, and this one at this center. So those that is where those pieces go. Then the next premium species I have is purple heart. These are like 2 pieces of purple heart, and you can see the other side of this purple heart. So what I did was that this was way too thin. I could not just throw away these pieces. These are like super premium mode. So I did glue up a piece of like another strip to just make it like so I can have this on the back side. So because I have 2 pieces of this, I will put it like between those pieces of padauk that I have. So those are like basically like I want like the overall layout to be that way, and then it's just about putting in like I have pieces of like this is sapele, I have pine, I have ash, maple, I have some pieces of scrap pieces of oak, some cherry, couple of pieces of walnut. Walnut probably I will try to again equidistant. I could put a oak on the other side, but let me put a sapele instead. I mean, or even I can go with I have so many to choose from. I mean, what I'm trying to say is basically like choosing something that looks good to your eyes. I can squeeze in one more piece of walnut somewhere. I can do it here. Then this can go in here. Okay, so I have cut all these pieces to length. I am yet to test those. But one thing before I do that, one thing I want to do additionally is if I bring the previous panel, the panel that I have already built, this is the back side. So if you can see, I don't know how clearly it is, visible it is. So this still looks good, but they are like they are continuous, like there is no gap in between. But if you see on the front side, there is like a almost uniform gap between each of these pieces, right? So that just gives like a better look, like a tambour kind of a look. So that is what I am going to work on. This becomes even more important if you're using the same color. Then like if they are too continuous, it may not like uh, bring the look that we really want. So to do that, what I'm going to do is take each of these pieces again, clear my bench. So again, start with one of the pieces. So this is the first piece. I mean, obviously one side is going to get inside the groove, but I'm still going to go ahead with shaping both ends. So I look at the grain direction. I clamp it in, like almost like doesn't matter much, but like around halfway. And then I bring any plane. I will just use my number 4. You can use a little relatively deeper set. just reduces the, so I angle it, I instead of straight I slant it in 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I mean, I just count the number, so like 6 times, and then there is this hard corner. I can just 1 or 2 times, that's fine. Just be watchful of your fingernails. But yeah. Then same on the other side. 6. Okay, that's number 1 done. I do the same thing on all pieces. The main thing is looking at the grain direction. Yeah, I feel like the grain is this way towards my side. So what happens if I bring this in close? You see there is like a almost a uniform gap, but the back side is like no gap. So that's the look I desire. So I will just do the same thing on all of these pieces. Take your time to study the grain. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. It's so much fun to do that. I mean, for me. Doesn't matter like the amount of. All right, this is exactly the same thing, and I'll just do the rest of the pieces, and then I'll come back when I'm trying to like do the trial run. One thing. So I'm about to get this complete. I have 3 more pieces remaining. I'll just wrap this up. This is an enjoyable process. I may look tedious, but does like I've encountered different types of grain and all. Like it's a lot of learning, and I really love using my plane. So I don't mind it at all. That slow stroke sometimes That really helps because it gives the time to the plane to really cut the surface. This is the last one, I believe. Sapele is really nice. Like I never had experience before this. I bought a couple of pieces of sapele, and I have made like a drawer organizer out of it, and it was a pleasure to work with. And it looks really nice with shellac. So anyways, like I am done with all the pieces. Usually what happens, there are so many pieces, when I'm trying to assemble those, I realize that I have missed something. So that is where, like, again, dry assembling, test fitting is so important. So I will bring my panel now. I have to open up one end, doesn't matter which one. So let me, but then I do want to stick with that, because I have numbered that from 1 to whatever, 40, 41. I just want to make sure when I'm gluing up, I just make sure, what I'm trying to say is that I just make sure that when I'm doing my final glue up, I follow the exact same sequence. That's what I'm trying to say. There are no surprises and all. If everything is square and straight, it's fine. It will just work out. But yeah, I'm going to put things from this side. This is the back side, by the way. So I need to make sure that I can make a small mark, like I can write 1 here, just to remind me that my number, like 1 starts here. And then few pieces I will just show it this way, but then I'm going to clamp it so that, or let me clamp it, because it's such a tall piece that and yeah, so this is my 1. So again, I make sure that that is my face. So the sides that I beveled, they go on the outer side. Just making sure that this is sitting properly. Now this may have like widened this thing. I will come to know when I fit the final piece. These things, they look fine, so I am not too worried about that. They seem to be fitting just snug. I'll just quickly show you how I'm doing. So it's going fine now. Now 41. What I have to see here is after I put that final piece, I'll just show you. So here, this does look like longer than my groove. So what I can do, I can take like shaving from both of them, like both ends, so that they look equidistant. I'm not too bothered about that look, so I'll just take, let me see how much is it protruding. They all seem to be tight. So the total like outside length, I'm just trying to see how I'm doing. It's 12 exactly here. Does seem like this is way wider. It is wider. I don't know, like when I clamp it, how it will look. Can I clamp this in? Let me bring a clamp. What I'm trying to say is that as long as this is this can be clamped in with not too much of a, again, did that pull this thing apart? No, it's still 12. Yeah, I think this is good. So what I'm going to measure is the depth of my groove is 5/16. This is definitely much more than that. So I want like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Putting a small nick here. So basically, what I want to do is like to shave off this end. That's what I'm going to do. I keep this aside. I can take a scrap plane. This thing, my number 5 has a deeper setting. It's so critical to get this dry run. I'm still going to measure this. This thing is like a 30-second less than 5/16, which I like. This thing is not. This is 5/16. So I have to take. So this is like definitely skewed. I didn't. I mean, this is such a short piece that my planing was not accurate. But I don't want these to be holding my joint, really. Let me give this a try. So this is my dry run, obviously. So the piece of like a scrap piece of wood that I have kept, because I'm going to hammer this in. I don't need this clamp any longer. I don't want this to be slamming on my legs. I want to see whether this thing goes in fully. Even though I know this is going to be a pain to take this apart, I still want to. This thing is fully in. Perfect. I like it very much. It's time for the glue up. So take it apart. I'll show you how I did to pull this out. I'm not saying it's a easy process, but I mean, that's my only option, I think. So I clamp this in. I had like a piece of wood here, like where this had like a step down. So I'm just going to put this in here and then use my hammer to and I'm still going from the back side of the panel in case it's almost out. Yeah, so I will keep this aside. So I will pull apart everything. So this is 41 from that end. So yeah, I just pull apart these things, arrange it back like this, and time for my glue up. Let me pull this out. If this is like stuck too much, I can stretch this a little bit. These okay. So time for glue up. I'll just show one thing. So I just took a decision that these things, the padauk pieces, if you remember, they were like slightly tighter than I would need. I mean, they still went through fine in my dry run. So probably I don't need to, but I just took the decision that I will just take a small shaving of each end. That's it. I mean, I just didn't like the fact that they are holding up this thing. So uh, I have my glue ready. This my silicone tray, drip tray. I usually like try to use a couple of scrap pieces of like wood as my applicator. That's about it, like a thin strip of wood. Uh, okay, glue up. So I have two clamps ready. Like these are the 48-inch clamps that I recently bought from Harbor Freight. So let me pull this apart. I have noted that size as 1. So first thing is that I will pull this apart and start gluing from this side. I remember, so this one. Okay, keep the hammer aside. What I'd like to do is like checking. So this is the bottom piece. So it goes here. The triangle points upward. So this one goes here. So I start with the tenon cheeks. Some glue here. Spread it. I don't need too much glue, but I still apply little bit more maybe than needed. Just helps seat the joint, like lubricates it, and let me use from here. So I will be applying on both surfaces. Not that it's needed for a stronger joint, but because like it helps like so here I'll just be like applying a thin bead like right here and right here. I think I extended it too much into the groove. I just wiped it off. Don't need that much. My fingers. Now time to put this in. So again, I'll hammer this in. This is good. Now again checking like which side do I need. I don't want to go wrong in any of these. So two triangle marks, so this side. Okay. I clamp this in. Clock is ticking. The fibers are swelling and glue is setting, so I have to be quick. So one, so my side is the back side, so the numbers face my side. I don't want anything to be holding. I want to get into this rhythm. 2, 3, I have done the dry run. I am confident this will fit, but still getting nervous. What they say is that when you are trying to work on a joinery, meaning like carving out the joinery or like making the mortise and tenon joint in a very humid or a rainy weather, you may think that it is tight, but let's say you leave it. I don't glue it up and then leave it, and you come back like say a week after that when the weather is very dry, you may find the joint is actually loose also. So because the wood, the moisture would have evaporated, and you suddenly see that the wood has shrunk. 16, 17, 20, 24. I'm sorry, I don't think this is visible on the camera. I can try to change the angle a little bit, facing this way. I know I'm working on the top portion. Let me try to change the angle a bit. Yeah, 24. 25, 54. Again, this one was holding off earlier. Perfect. 35, almost there. 41. Okay, this one was the bevel needs to be this side. Okay, I'm happy with that. No more waiting. Quick, I have to apply glue on the tenons. I have to do both of them together. Turn it the other way. I am nervous, but this is exciting. Many more steps to complete this project. I have to work on the, like there are some curved drawers, dovetails and all. So many new aspects which I have never done before, but step at a time. Now take this piece, I apply glue on all of them. Don't mind a little bit of extra glue, just helps lubricate. I want these joints to go in without too much of hammering. Okay, keep it here. Let me face the triangle. So triangle point is pointing to my right side. So I just look at this. What happened there? Uh, so I let me keep it upside down because one of the pieces fell down. Now the point of the triangle is facing the other side. But it's going in. Wiping off the glue from my hands. Now I have to hammer tapping both ends. So there is, so I think I need the small clamp. So this side, it seems like it has gone a little bit wider, slightly over 12. This is exactly at 12. Exactly the same thing that I had done the last time, like when during my dry run. I will just use this clamp to cinch this in. Oops, this was about to. Hopefully that pulled it in. I don't want to try like put like an enormous amount of pressure on this one. The reason being, like worst case scenario, what I'm going to do is like at the end I'm just going to plane this in. Let me try like hammer tapping. That's it, no more than that. Like I applied as much pressure as I could. Now I need to clamp these things in. So I bring the big clamps. I don't have like normally it's a good idea to put some plywood or leather padding on your clamps. These are new ones, I forgot to do that. Let me clamp both ends and then I'll try to apply more pressure. I think they do need a little bit more pressure. Let me get those pipe clamps. The disadvantage with these clamps is that other than the fact that they apply enormous pressure, which could be an advantage, it could be a disadvantage in fine woodworking. So I'm going to pull this out. That's it. I put the pressure in and retract my clamps because that was just enough to pull this in, and like they should hold in that place. Now I go back to my bar clamps. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other piece. They did go in pretty good. I don't want to apply more pressure than that. Something is going to give otherwise. So I could leave it at that actually. I don't need to take this out. So I will leave it at that. What I'm going to do is, since I have one more clamp here, just make use of it to apply some more pressure on this side. That's it. I leave it at that.